What if I told you two kids outsmarted the CIA? Not seasoned spies, not tech prodigies backed by shadowy organizations. Just two teenagers, bored in their suburban bedrooms. This isn't a movie script. This is the story of Sam and Alex. Sam, 15, possessed the nimble fingers of a concert pianist, flying across the keyboard, weaving magic with lines of code. Alex, 17, was the strategist, a chess player in the digital world, always 10 steps ahead. Together, they were an unstoppable force. Their playground? The labyrinthine network of the CIA. Sam and Alex were more alike than they cared to admit. Both felt stifled in their small town. Their days a monotonous cycle of school and homework. Their escape was the internet, a vast, unregulated playground where their skills could truly shine. They met in the shadowy corners of an online forum, drawn together by their shared love for coding and their disdain for authority. Their early collaborations were harmless pranks, rerouting school website traffic, manipulating online games, but their ambitions grew with each successful exploit. It began with a news report. A whistleblower, a former CIA analyst, was claiming the agency was overstepping its boundaries, spying on ordinary citizens. The government denied it, but the seed of doubt had been planted in Sam and Alex's minds. They felt a surge of anger, a righteous indignation. This was wrong, they thought. Someone had to do something. What started as idle chatter soon morphed into a challenge, a dare. Could they, two teenagers armed with nothing but their laptops, penetrate the digital fortress of the CIA? For weeks their lives revolved around lines of code, their fingers dancing across keyboards, eyes glued to screens. They were on a mission, driven by a relentless curiosity and a desire to test their limits. Sleepless nights illuminated by the glow of their computer screens. They scoured the dark web for vulnerabilities, diving deep into the hidden corners of the internet, where secrets and dangers lurked. They exploited every loophole, every oversight in the CIA's supposedly impenetrable security system. Their approach was unconventional, almost artistic in its execution. They saw patterns where others saw chaos, almost playful. While seasoned hackers relied on brute force, hammering away at firewalls and encryption, Sam and Alex used wit and ingenuity, thinking outside the box. They were not just hackers, they were digital artists, painting their way through the cyber landscape, turning the CIA's own systems against them. They created a digital phantom, a sophisticated piece of code that could mimic legitimate traffic, a ghost in the machine, invisible to the untrained eye. This phantom moved through the CIA's network undetected, slipping past security measures with ease. They were like digital ninjas, silent, agile, and deadly effective. Their movements were precise, calculated, and always one step ahead of the defenders. And then, they were in. The breach was successful, a testament to their skill and determination. They had done the impossible, breaching the wall that was thought to be unbreachable. Their journey had just begun, and the digital world would never be the same again. The breach sent shockwaves through Langley. Top-level officials huddled in emergency meetings, their faces grim. News reporter, how could this happen? Who were these ghosts in their machine? The media went into a frenzy, headlines screaming about a crippling cyber attack, speculating about the perpetrators and their motives. The world watched with bated breath as the most secretive organization in the world grappled with the reality of having been outsmarted by two teenagers. Section 6. Aftermath. The FBI, with their vast resources and sophisticated technology, were brought in. It didn't take them long to trace the hack back to the quiet suburban town and the two teenagers who had orchestrated the whole thing. The news of their arrest sent shockwaves through their community. Their parents, oblivious to their son's activities, were left reeling. The weight of their actions crashed down on Sam and Alex. The consequences were far more real than they had ever imagined. Section 7. Life after the breach. The trial was swift, the verdict a foregone conclusion. Despite their age, Sam and Alex were tried as adults, their actions deemed a threat to national security. The courtroom was filled with tension as the judge read the sentence. Their parents watched in disbelief, their dreams of a future in tech seemingly shattered. They were sentenced to time in a juvenile detention center, a place where hope seemed to fade with each passing day. Inside, stripped of their computers and their freedom, they faced the consequences of their actions. The once bright future now seemed distant, a mere shadow of what could have been. The weight of their crime, The knowledge that they had shaken one of the most powerful organizations in the world was a heavy burden to bear. They spent their days reflecting on their choices, wondering if they would ever get a second chance. The nights were long and filled with regret as they thought about the lives they had disrupted. The world outside moved on, but for Sam and Alex, time seemed to stand still. They hoped for redemption, clinging to the belief that they could make amends. The journey ahead was uncertain, but they were determined to find a way to rebuild their lives. Life after the breach was a new chapter, one filled with challenges and opportunities for growth. They had learned a hard lesson, and now it was time to write their own story of redemption. Section 8. The Glimmer in the Eye. Years later, after serving their sentences, Sam and Alex emerged into a world that viewed them with a mix of fear and fascination. Job offers poured in from tech giants eager to harness their skills, their criminal past strangely enhancing their appeal. But Sam and Alex had learned their lesson. They had tasted the seductive allure of power, the thrill of operating outside the lines, and the bitter reality of the consequences. They chose a different path. Section 9. The Unseen Player. What the world didn't know, what remained hidden in the shadows, was a force more powerful than anyone could have imagined. This force was the unseen hand that had guided Sam and Alex all along. The whistleblower, the former CIA analyst, had never truly disappeared. He had been watching, waiting, and planning meticulously. His presence was like a ghost in the machine, always there but never seen. He had been the silent guardian, the hidden mentor, manipulating the events from behind the scenes. Sam and Alex were his pawns, their youthful idealism a tool to expose the truth. Their hack was not just a random act of rebellion, but a calculated move in a much larger game. The mastermind had orchestrated every step, every click, and every keystroke. He had seen potential in the teenagers, potential that could be harnessed for a greater cause. Their youthful idealism was a double-edged sword, both a strength and a vulnerability. They believed they were fighting for justice, but they were also being used as instruments in a grander scheme. The hack was a calculated move in a much larger game, a game of chess where every piece had its role, and every move was part of a master plan. And as the world marveled at the audacity of two teenagers, they had no idea that they were merely the visible tip of an invisible iceberg. The true mastermind remained hidden, pulling the strings from the shadows, orchestrating events with a precision that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. He was the puppeteer, and the world was his stage. Every move, every revelation was part of his grand design. The unseen player, the true architect of the chaos, remained in the shadows, ever watchful, ever vigilant.